Hello everyone, welcome to Mifratech. So today in this section I'm going to explain you COVID-19 epitope prediction project. So here in this project mainly we are going to predict based on different parameters of the epitope whether particular epitope can be used for vaccine production or not. So here what is the exact different like how to run this project, what is the different output you will get in this project, what are the algorithm we use, how the backend code has written, everything I've explained in the previous section. So now in this section I'm going to explain you the front end code, like what is the front end Python code we have written, what are all the HTML codes we have written for the web pages, all those things I'm going to explain in this section. Before that I will show you the project folder where which and all the files related to the front end I'm going to show you. So here static folder, so inside this one the front end web pages background image which I will add to the web page that will be present inside static folder. Next we have template folder, inside this one register, login and prediction page HTML code is there, again the same image which will be added the like as a background image for the web pages, that is epitope image with the extension jpg is present. Next is app underscore sql, this is the exact code which is related to, which have python code related to front end code I have written. Next ddbb is the sql file for the user register and now to show username and password, that sql file I have written. So these are related to front end code, and the packages required for both front and back end I have just installed in the command prompt in the while explaining the backend code itself. So now I'll directly explain the front end code. So just open this with edit with IDLE. I will open the app underscore SQL front end code. So now first observe here, first thing is I told which are all the different packages required, we have to import them. So import numpy as np and import I'm importing numpy and storing as alias name np. So here why in the front end code also numpy required means in front end code also in cases we'll use n dimensional array or some of the mathematical techniques we'll use, all are available in numpy itself. So I'm importing numpy. Next import pandas as pd. See here some of the things we can have to convert into data frame. So some in case whatever the user data will get, finally we have to convert into data frame in order to give to the algorithm. So yeah, in order to convert into data frame we need pandas library, so I'm importing pandas. Next thing is import pymysql, mysql dot install underscore as mysql db, import mysql db. So why I'm importing pymysql means here whatever the username and password you store in the database, in order to fetch the data to the program python program and in order to insert username and password to database we require some of the techniques, so all are available inside this pymysql. So next thing is whatever the username and password will store, so now we need it to compare while you're doing login or registration. So for that purpose we need some of the empty list, so in order to store username and password, so I'm creating some four empty lists here. So gmail list is equal to open and close brace an empty list, password list, gmail list one, password list one. These are the four empty lists where in gmail list and list one I will store username, password list and password list one I will store password. So next from Flask import Flask request JSON alpha render template. So here Flask is the main thing which we have written the front end here with the help of Flask and HTML code only. So what are all the things required from the Flask I'm importing here. So JSON alpha request render template, all those things. Next thing is whichever the algorithm gave the more accuracy I converted directly into pickle model. So that is like a binary format. Now I have to load it in the front end. So how to load means with the help of joblib. So I'm importing joblib library. So now I'll load it. So joblib.load. So the name of the file is final pickle model, is the extension .pickle, should be enclosed either in single or double quote. Finally I will load the algorithm, I will store in a variable model here. So now it is done. The next thing is the Flask is like a app, you have to initialize that one. So how to initialize means app is equal to flask of underscore name underscore. So this is the exact syntax you have to use in order to initialize this Flask. So now when you run this, first I will run this front end code. So how to run this, click on run module F5. Okay, so now when you run this one, the thing what you will get here, an HTTP link will be generated. So now you can observe here. Here an HTTP link is generated. Now you will copy starting from it. After 5000 there is a slash. Up to this much you will copy and come to the default browser where you added the database and open a new tab. Will just copy this link and click on enter. So first thing where it will go means after entering this link, when you click on enter, it will direct to take you to registration page. Here this is the registration page. How it is directly going to this page means observe here. at app.root. I am routing. Where I am routing means whenever after 5000 slash will come, return render template. Which template I am returning? Register.html. So a registration page HTML code I have written. That page will be, that HTML code will be run there, loaded. So only you are getting registration page HTML. So now I will explain that registration page HTML code. So what and all is there present in this HTML code means there is a background image should be there and a heading where register should be there, and it should be in white color board. Those styling have to do. Again, there is a form where you can enter username and password. Finally, in order to submit that data, register submit button is there. Finally, when you enter username and password here, so now I enter some username and password, you are getting here this username is already in use if the username already present. So this displaying some data, right? So is sentence. So in order to display this data, some a space have to write the give in the HTML code. So from where it will display, I will explain. Again, there is a login hyperlink is there. When you click on this one, it will directly take you to login page. So these much I have to write in the HTML code of the registration page. So now I will explain that one. So go to the project folder, go to templates. Inside that one, the register HTML code. Now directly open with Notepad. So when you open Notepad, the HTML code of the registration page is open. Now I will explain this one. So here doc type HTML, HTML head, these are the standard tags you have to use in the HTML. Next is styling. If you are doing any kind of styling, that should be enclosed within the style tag. So background image. So which image I am adding, that should be kept in static folder and template folder. I already explained you. The name of the image is Epitope. It is in the extension JPG. So here I told, right, the Epitope extension JPG that have written there. Next, background should not be repeat, no repeat. Background size is both height and width. I am giving 100%. Background position center and background size should cover the whole page I am writing. Next, hyperlink. So have to style this hyperlink so that a text in the should be centered. That is the height and width of the red color background. All those things I have to write. So a.link a visited. Here background color I am writing. Padding 15 px 25 px, color white I am giving. Text align should be center. Display inline block. Finally, background color I am writing as red. So this is for the styling of the that hyperlink. Next thing is background image. Whatever you are changing here, you have to change here also if you want to change the background image. So epitope.jpg I am giving that background image. Next thing is a division class I am opening. The first heading whatever you are getting here, register. So h1 is the tag I am using for header. So register. So here B is nothing but I am bolding that one. Font style color I am giving white. Font family version you can give any color and font family. Size I am giving 5 here. Finally I will close this tag. So finally this will be displayed whatever the line have given. After that, not to give this much of a line space, what I will do means I will use BR. So what this tag will do is it is giving the line. BR is nothing but a line break. So next we have is a form I have to create. So form action I'm creating. So whatever you enter in a registration page form, where I can collect it in which method means register method, I can collect all the data. Where that method present means come to this Python code. See here you can see there is a register method here. So here I can collect whatever the data you will enter in the registration page. So finally inside this form what is there, input text, where at the place of placeholder username have written. It is nothing but whatever the username you are getting here name, that is the place where you will enter in the placeholder. Finally input time, one more is password. The password if you not entering any password means by default fake psw will be stored there. So br is nothing but line break I am giving. Finally there is a submit button. So button type submit should be in center. The name of the button is register. I am finally closing my form. This much is there in my form. So I close that one. Register button is there. Next this text should be displayed. So where it is displaying means there is a flower based text. So at this place of text only the data is displaying. For that I am bolding it. Font style color I am giving white. Font family Vardhana. Size 6 I am giving. Finally line break. So from where this text will be replaced means here in the front like st in the normal Python code you can see at the place of text I am storing this user is already new. This text only will be displayed there in the HTML. Finally we left with this hyperlink have to create. So a is the hyperlink tag I use, href slash login. The name of the hyperlink is login I am giving. So login. So here what is this slash login means, when you just click on this login, it will take you to login page. So here you should load the login page HTML code. So how it is loading means when you click on this, there is a slash login method will be in the background in the Python code it will be loaded. So how it is based, see here there is a slash login method. So it will directly route that where it is loading means it is returning the render template of login.html code will be generated. You directly click on this login button. So this is what the HTML code I have written for the registration page, I will just close all the open tag. So now I will close this one. So now we'll go to the Python code. Now I will explain you how exactly the registration will work here. So I told earlier itself, whatever you enter in the registration page, I will collect in the register method. So that is what I am doing now. So how to collect means request.form.value. So this will help us to collect whatever the data we will enter in the front end. So finally, I will collect and store in the variable x. This variable x I will store in the format of string. So str of x. Finally, I will encode all of them within square brace is nothing but as a list I am storing. So now I will store in a variable int features too. So whatever you enter in the front end, all are available in features to list. So now the first thing what you enter is username, after that password. So it is in the index 0, username, password in index 1. So what I will do is now see here, int features of index 0, that is username, I will store in R1, I will print R1. Again, int features of index 1, I have password, I will store in R2, I will print R2. Again, login int features of index username, I will store in login1 variable. Int features of 1, that is password, I will store in one more variable, passw1. So finally, I have stored in some variable. I have to connect my database now. So import mysqldb, mysqldb data connect, whichever thing I am connecting is my local host, username I am giving root, password I am empty I am giving, the database name is ddbb I am giving. So finally this will connect my database. So in order to fetch data from the database, so I will store in a variable db. Now in order to fetch all the data from the database, we have to create a cursor object, have to create. So db.cursor of, and our cursor object I am creating, storing in a variable cursor. Now I will execute an SQL query. So cursor.execute, what SQL query I am executing is select user from user register. So what this means, I am going to select here in this database ddbb, there is a user register table is there. So what the query I am writing means, I have to select this user column from my user register table. That is what I have written there. So after selecting, how to fetch all the data from this user column. See here, all these usernames have to fetch. So how to fetch means, cursor.fetchAll will fetch all the data from that user table, so like user column from the user registration table. I will store in result one. Now one by one I will access them using for loop. I will store it an empty list which I created earlier, right? Use this in these empty list I will store those usernames. So for row 1 result 1 I will fetch data one by one. I will store in gmail list 1 dot append will add to the empty list the data in the string format I am adding. Finally I will print my username list in gmail list 1. So now if username, whatever, when the registration, if you try to use the username in order to register which is already there in the database means, because using the same name which is there in the database to register, there is no point in it. So what I will display, whenever you try to do this one, this user is already in use, this message the user will get. So how we will getting means, if login, whatever the username you enter in the front end registration page are stored in login, I'm checking if that particular username is in gmail list, is nothing but it is in the username list which I collected from the database. It is that username is already is there in the database. I'm going to enter return render template in the register page. What I'm writing means, the place of text I'm replacing this user is already in use. So this is will happen when the username, if you enter try to register, it is already there in the database. So in case if the username is not there in the register database means, you should enter, we have to insert that username and password to the register database. So how to insert means, in the else part I will write else SQL insert into user register. What I am inserting user and password. What values means, both are percentages, string values. Finally, where value will be R1 R2. Initially, I stored those values in R1 R2, right? Username and password, those values only. Now I will execute my SQL query. So try cursor.execute SQL comma query db.commit db.rollback db.close. Finally, I have inserted my username password to my user register in the database. Is nothing but I am inserting user and password to user register in this ddbb database. So that how the exactly the data like registration will work. After registration, the user will get a message, that is in the registration page, the place of text successfully registered, the user will get the message. So now I'll use different username and password in order to register. Now see here, some username and password I will enter. I'll click on register button. So username and password I have entered and click on register button. So this username is already there in my registration. So now I will use some other username and password. So click on register. See, successfully registered message you are getting. So when you come here and refresh this one, whatever the just username and password you used for the registration, they will be inserted into database here. Mohan, whatever the just now username and password I entered, it will be added successfully. So only you are getting the successfully registered message. So this is what how the registration will work here. So in order to log in, when you click on login button, the login page HTML code will be like I told, it will be loaded. So that is what /login page HTML code will be loaded. So now what and all there in the login page HTML code I will explain now. See here, there is a same background image. Instead of register, login heading is there. The same one form is there where you can enter username and password, and there is a login button. And once you enter try to enter different when you enter wrong username and password, click on login, you will get use a proper username and password. This data will be displayed. So this much is there in login page HTML code, that I will explain now. So what we have to do is go to the project folder, open login with notepad, login page HTML code. So now I open the login page HTML code. Now you can observe the same background image, everything is same. Only change is the image also same. In the H1, instead of register, now it is login. So color is white, font family Vardhana, size everything different, line break, bolding, everything is done. Form action. So now I'm creating a form. So whatever you enter in the login page form, where I can collect in which method in the backend code means Python code, the logged in method. So where that logged in method means, so here you can see this is the logged in method where I will collect all the data whatever you enter in the login page. So finally after that, input type text, the placeholder username only, password if you don't enter any password, fake PSW will be taken by default. Line break I'm giving, button type submit, it is in the center, the name of the button is login now. Finally I will closing the form. So this much is there in the form now. So this, in order to display this data, I have to create that one. So at the place of text flower basis, you can see at the place of text only the data is displayed, like replaced. So for that color I'm giving white, a font family, size, line break. Finally I will close everything. So only BR is nothing but line break in order to fit everything into page. So only this much is there in login page of HTML code of the login page. Now I will close this one. So I told it use proper username and password. From where it is coming is in the place of text. Here use proper username and password I'm sending at the place of text. So this is what the HTML code of login. Now I will explain how exactly the login will work. See here, now whatever you enter in the login page, I will collect in the logged in method I told earlier itself. So now request.form.values, I will collect whatever you enter in the login page. I will store in the string format as finally as a list, how I did in the register. So finally it is available in int features too. The first thing you enter is username. So log you in the index 0. Password at the index 1 I will store in passw. 5 I will connect my database. So import mysqldb, mysqldb.connect localhost, username, password empty, ddbb. Finally db, I will create one cursor method. So db.cursor, store in cursor. So now I will cursor.execute, select user from user register. So I'm selecting user column from my user registration table in the database. I will fetch cursor.fetch all, will fetch all the data using for loop. I will store one by them in the Gmail list one. All the username will be available in this Gmail list, the Gmail underscore list data list. Finally I have to, now for the login I want the password also. So what I will do, I will create one more cursor object. So db.cursor up, I will store in a variable cursor1. So cursor1.execute, what I will do is select password from user register. So what I am doing is I'm selecting this password column from my user register. That is what I have written there. So next, after selecting, I have to fetch all the data. So cursor1.fetch all the data, store in result 2. For row 2 I will fetch one by one, I will store in password list. Finally have my user name from the database in Gmail list, password from the database in the password list. So now what I will do is I will use one logic. What logic means, you can observe in the database both username and password available in the same row, like in the same index value. If you consider them as an index value, it is the first row is index 1, like that index 2. So username and password of the same user will be available in the single line, means the same like index value they will mention. So now I stored user and password in some list now. So what I will do is I will just compare the username and password whatever you enter in the login page, that index value I will compare whether the same index value in the list. So if Gmail list under index value of whatever the username just you enter in the login page I stored in log you, right, that I am giving, if that username index value that should be equal to password whatever enter in the login page, that password index value, if both are matching means the user will go to directly prediction page. So return render index.html, it is nothing but a prediction page. HTML code will be loaded, so you will go to prediction page. So else if you are not entering a proper username and password, means the login page, the user will get use proper username and password. So this is what exactly how the login will happen in this project. So now I will enter the correct username and password. So now you can see it will directly go to the prediction page. See here, it will directly come to COVID-19 epitope prediction page. So this is the index HTML code for the prediction page. So now I will explain the HTML code of the prediction page. Here, prediction page, I told index.html will be loaded successfully. So now go to the project folder, open index.html code, open with notepad. So this is the HTML code for the index page here, that is a prediction page. So here, what is the difference here? Nothing different. So same background image, everything is same. Styling also, so no repeat. Background size, those things 102%, everything I am writing same. Background size, height and width I am writing. Finally, whatever you enter, see the name of the heading here, COVID-19 epitope predictions here, the same heading for the styling have to do. So size 5, family Vardhana, color white I'm giving, bolding, everything, form. So now I have to create a form. So whatever you enter in these input parameter inside the form of the prediction page, where I can collect means in the predict method. So where that method means, come here in the Python code. See here, there's a predict method, you can see. So in this method only I will collect all the data whatever you enter in the prediction page HTML code. So in this page whatever enter I collect in the predict method. Now what and all is there? Input type text here. You can observe here, start position, end position, Chausman, Emini, Kolasker, Parker, isoelectric point, RMSity, hydrophobic stability. All the 10 input parameter form I have created. Finally, a submit button. So type is submit. The name of the button is predict. So a predict button, name of the button. Finally, I will close form. So form is over. So once you enter all the data here, now you will enter some data and you will see here, after entering all the input data, what you will do means have to submit those data. You have to submit data. When you submit that data, you have to click on predict. So when you click on predict, you are getting the output here. So this can be used for vaccine production. So why, from where this data will be displayed means at the place of, see here, at the place of this predict text, the data will be replaced there. So for that, color I'm giving white, I'm bolding that one, a family Vardhana, size 7 I'm giving. Finally I'm closing everything. So this much is there in the prediction page HTML code. So now I will close this one. So from where this data will be coming means, here in the Python code, you can see here at the place of prediction text I am storing. This can be used for vaccine production. This cannot be used for vaccine production. So only at the place of prediction data, this output will be displayed there in the front end. So now I will explain how exactly the prediction will work. So whatever you enter in the prediction page, I will collect in the predict method. So I will collect request.form.value, store in X, select in the string format, finally stored in a variable like as a list, int feature. Now I will store this list in one more variable A. So now all this data in the string format. So I have to store them in, I want them in the float value. I want a numerical value, floating value. Again, one more thing is I want them in the like a data frame, like a particular column name I want, on that column name the value should be stored. So what I will do is I will create one dictionary. So data is equal to a dictionary I am creating, where the column name I am giving start position, key name, like for that value I will store is float of whatever the index 0. The first thing what you will enter is start position, that is at the index 0, that I will convert into floating, finally store in the value of start position, like that end position. All the index from starting is 0 to 9, 10 values here, starting from index A0, A9. Can observe the last thing you will enter is hydrophobic stability. So at these are the index 9. So A0 to A9, all the 10 input parameter I stored in this dictionary. Finally, I will convert this dictionary into data frame. So pd.data frame of data I will store in df. So when I print data frame, so this is how my data frame will look like. See, you can observe here, it is like this. So in the column name start position, 8 is their end position, 165, whatever you enter in the front end code, that will be stored in the form of a data frame. So that I can directly give this type of input to predict the output now. So my data frame is available. Now I initially loaded my algorithm which gave the more accuracy in the pickle model in the variable model. So now I will use this in order to predict. So model.predict the input data frame whatever I just now got from the input user entered data, that I will give as an input to here. Finally predicted output I will store in pred. So now I will, it is a predicted output is like a list form I will get. So I will convert it into integer. So pred of int of pred I will get in the integer. Finally I will print my predicted output. Now you can see my predicted output is 1. 1 is nothing but that can be used for vaccine production. 0 means cannot be used. So it is 1. So now I have to display some data. So what I will do is I will check the condition. If the whatever the predicted value is equal to 1, I'm checking. If it is 1 means return render template in the index, that is in the prediction page. What I will replace at the place of prediction text means, if it is 1 means predicted value, this can be used for vaccine production. I will display. In case the predicted value is no one, not 1 means it is 0. So 0 means at the render template in the index page, that is prediction page, I will display. This cannot be used for prediction vaccine production. So this is the output. Finally you will get in this front end page code. Finally the Flask is like an app. You have to run this. So if of underscore underscore name is equal to main means app dot run of debug is equal to false. So once you, this is the exact front end code I have written for this COVID-19 epitope prediction project. So when you run this code, an HTTP link will be generated automatically. So now I will give some of the input and I will finally show you last time the final output here. So now I will give some other data here. So click on predict. See, this can be used for vaccine production. You are getting based on input whatever I enter. I'll enter some other data now. So click on predict. So this cannot be used for vaccine production. These are the two different output you will get in this COVID-19 epitope prediction project here. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you.